Listening, fill in the blanks.
Let's start.
Alternative energy sources are being pursued for a variety of reasons. Many countries have signed the Kyoto Protocol, making measures to reduce pollutants and greenhouse gases a top priority in today's culture. Alternative, or renewable, energy sources hold a lot of promise for reducing the quantity of pollutants produced as a result of energy use. Alternative energy not only protects against unwanted byproducts, but it also helps to maintain many of the natural resources that we now utilize as energy sources. It's crucial to know what sorts of alternative energy are available in order to comprehend how they can assist protect the planet's delicate ecological balance and conserve non-renewable energy sources like fossil fuels. Electricity can be generated using wind energy. The blades of a windmill spin when wind blows past them. The shaft connected to the blades rotates, powering a pump or turning a generator to generate electricity. After that, electricity is stored in batteries. The amount of energy that can be produced is determined by the wind speed and the size of the blades. In windier areas of the country, wind energy is more efficient. The majority of wind energy is generated by wind farms, which are enormous clusters of turbines positioned in reliably windy areas. Wind as a source of energy is both free and non-polluting, with no emissions or chemical waste. Wind-generated electricity is becoming more prevalent.
Ocean sources. Oceans, which span more than 70% of the Earth's surface, contain both thermal and mechanical energy from the sun's heat and tides and waves. Solar radiation is converted to electricity by ocean thermal energy conversion, OTC. To create electricity, OTEC power plants employ the temperature difference between warm surface waters heated by the sun and colder waters found at ocean depths. The energy of the tides can also be used to generate electricity. The power of changing tides is harnessed via tidal energy, but considerable tidal variances are required. The tidal process makes use of the tide's natural motion to fill reservoirs, which are then progressively emptied through electricity-generating turbines.
The Egyptian people showed reverence towards natural objects such as the lotus flower, the scarab beetle, the falcon, the lion, the sun and the river Nile. These subjects and many more were used symbolically and conventionally as motifs in low-relief carving and painting. It was the custom of the Egyptians to depict the various parts of the human figure, usually in the most characteristic positions. The head was shown in profile except for the eye, which was represented from the front. The shoulders and a portion of the arms were portrayed from the front, while the hips and legs were side views. Wall decoration showed little or no attempt to indicate depth or perspective, except by placing distant objects above near things. Native American resistance to the Europeans was ineffective. Indigenous peoples suffered from white brutality, alcoholism, the killing and driving off of game, and the expropriation of farmland. But all these together are insufficient to explain the degree of their defeat. The crucial factor was not people, plants, or animals, but germs. Smallpox was the worst and the most spectacular of the infectious diseases mowing down the Native Americans. The first recorded pandemic of that disease in British North America detonated among the Algonquin of Massachusetts in the early 1630s. The history of human civilization, right from the Golden Age, evolved parallel to the history of the ways we learned to handle water and its resources across the globe. As urban areas expanded slowly and steadily, water resources were taken rapidly from remote sources, amounting to luxury engineering impacts like aqueducts, dams, and so on. During the Roman Empire's era, 9 major systems had a drastic change, with the help of a sophisticated idea of sewers, pipelines, etc. Such engineering advancements by the Roman occupants provided as much water per individual person as it has been in many industrial areas today. The repercussions of our water policy framework extend not just jeopardizing human health, but also the mere existence. Millions of people coerced to shift from their homes permanently with some warning or temporary relief, to give space for the reservoirs behind water dams. 20% and above of all freshwater fish species are now under serious threat, or endangered, mainly due to dams and water reservoirs withdrawals have stopped the natural flow of river water, where they live and survive. It eventually destroyed the entire ecosystem. There are some best irrigation methods that lead to soil degradation and deteriorated production of agriculture.
In the beginning of the new millennium, the way policymakers plan for water resources is beginning to take a twist. Their aim is to gradually move towards the basic human and environmental needs as the highest priority. It is to ensure some for all, rather than more for some. A few environmentalists and water experts suggest that existing infrastructure facilities could be utilized in an efficient way instead of constructing new buildings. However, it has been taken into consideration. This philosophical change is not universal yet, as it's strongly opposed by certain organizations who closely work for water security. In spite of that, it could be the ideal way to correctly tackle the overwhelming problem of serving everyone with clean water. Selling pharmaceuticals is a daily exercise in ethical judgment. Salespeople like Schaefer walk the line between the common practice of buying a prospect's time with a free meal and bribing doctors to prescribe their drugs. They work in an industry highly criticized for its sales and marketing practices, but find themselves in the middle of the age-old chicken or egg question. Businesses won't use strategies that don't work, so are doctors to blame for the escalating extravagance of pharmaceutical marketing? Or is it the industry's responsibility to decide the boundaries?
The explosion in the sheer number of salespeople, in the read and the amount of funding used to promote their causes forces close examination of the pressures, influences and relationships between drug reps and doctors. Salespeople provide much needed information and education to physicians. In many cases, the glossy brochures, article reprints and prescriptions they deliver are primary sources of drug education for healthcare givers. With the huge investment the industry has placed in face-to-face selling, salespeople have essentially become specialists in one drug or group of drugs, a tremendous advantage in getting the attention of busy doctors in need of quick information.
Like, share, subscribe the channel and press the bell icon for further updates.